wondering why I'm not wearing my usual hat. Mark, Luke and John. So I thought I'd make use of the pillbox because it's got a little leg. Amazing. Don't know if that'll come out on the video, it might be lost on the video. There's a maze down there. So I've actually slept up here, just round the corner here. Slight issue here. Gotta get through the gate. What's left of it. And of course we get the tithe barn in the back. This is where I have to go really careful along these kind of paths. This is another of those favourite views that I often talk about. And it's raining, by the way. That wasn't meant to happen. We just had the detour inland from Abbotsbury to this. And we've reached the Moonfleet Manor Hotel. I think it's John Trenchard, is it? And so we're not too far away from my campsite now. Well, the tent is up and everything is in. Sadly, not before the rain came. Well, good morning and welcome to day 3 of my 3-day Dorset countryside and coast backpack, and it is a glorious morning. I was woken by sunshine at good know what time, 6 o'clock I think, 5:30, 6 o'clock, and it was absolutely beautiful even then, and it is now. So it's going to be a good day. So I hope you're going to join me for another great day on the trail. And today is a shorter day. This should be about a 10-mile day and flatter than it has been on the last couple of days, which has been quite heavy going at times. But before we get going, I'll show you my campsite from yesterday. So this is my campsite. There's my little tent tucked away in the corner. And apart from that, not a lot. So that's that's pretty good place to stay, I would say. And the facilities are great, showers are good. So it's been a really good stay. Anyway, let's get going. I've got to pack my stuff up. It's partly packed already. Just got to stow it all in the rucksack and we'll get out on the trail again. So I'll see you in a minute. So we're underway. Left the campsite behind and I'm just dropping down to join the coast path. What an amazing morning this is. It's fantastic. You can see Chesil Beach. If I swing round, you can see the Moonfleet Manor Hotel down there, and all the way across where we've been walking the last 2 days. And Chesil Beach really stands out clear against this deep blue sea. It's amazing. There's a bit of a breeze blowing, the skylarks are singing, we've got bright beautiful sunshine. So it's been, so far, an awesome day, and it promises to be a great day throughout. The forecast is good today. So we're back on the coast path, walking beside the Fleet, which we will be doing for a little while. And it's a very windy in and out path. So the Fleet is actually a brackish lagoon. It is sandwiched between the coast path and Chesil Beach, which is the bank of shingle across the other side. That's what locks Fleet Lagoon in. It's brackish. This end is actually the fresher water end, because the entrance is at the far end, the eastern end, and it's more salty at that end because that's where the sea gets in. So it's a beautiful big brackish lagoon with an amazing shingle spit across the other side, world famous, and it's a great place to be walking at this time of the morning. So it's really unusual for me to be walking in this direction along the Fleet. I don't know, have I ever done it? I don't know. Normally I walk along here, and there's another pillbox, quite a few pillboxes and things along here. Normally I'll be walking along here when I'm backpacking the Dorset coast, and I would have caught the train to Weymouth, and I'll be walking from Weymouth heading west. So it's really unusual for me to be walking along the Fleet shoreline heading east, and it looks different. Interesting how it's different depending on the way you're walking. That's a beautiful light on the water, sparkling sunlight. That's awesome. So I said earlier that Chesil Beach is what protects the Fleet brackish lagoon, but that hasn't always been the case. There was one fateful day when Chesil Beach failed to protect it, and during a really stormy night the waves came thundering over Chesil Beach and across the Fleet and inland all the way up this valley, and the waves and the power of the sea was so great that it demolished part of the village and a large portion of the church, which is Fleet Church. So we'll take a little detour, have a quick look at that, because I really love Fleet Church, although it's a shadow of what it used to be. '24. That's when the event happened. And this is what's left of the church. Oh, sadly we can't get inside. Door appears to be locked. Last time I came here I couldn't get inside, but there was a notice on the door saying there was a bee's nest or wasp nest or something inside, so that was the reason they didn't let us in then. But maybe they haven't opened it yet. I'm sure it's normally open. Maybe somebody's got the key and they haven't opened it. It is still quite early. So the nave was completely destroyed by the storm. All we have left here, I think, is a chancel. It's a tiny little church now. It's actually mentioned in the Domesday book, so it goes back a long way, and it's all part of the Mohune family. If you've read Moonfleet, the novel, you'll know the Mohune family vaults mentioned in that. Well, the vaults are here. The Fleet was owned by the Mohune family, and in fact they lived at Moonfleet Manor, which is now Moonfleet Manor Hotel. That was the seat of the Mohune family. They were given the Fleet, in fact, by Queen Elizabeth I. But the good news is someone's just come in to unlock the door, so we can take a look inside. That was good timing.
A church has been in existence at Fleet since before the 11th century, although the building that was in existence at the time of the disaster is thought to have dated from the 15th century. In the storm of 1824, waves as high as 30 feet crashed over the church, badly damaging the building. The nave and the tower were subsequently demolished, and the chancel was restored as a mortuary chapel, a new church being built further inland.
So it seems the Mohune vault is underneath the chancel floor. And also, interestingly, it says here that there is a secret underground passage that runs from their vault, which is supposed to have linked up with the Fleet water, and that's where the smugglers supposedly brought in the contraband and stored it in the Mohune vault, as talked about in Moonfleet novel. Although there is no sign of any door, so you can't get in it now, obviously. But it's a beautiful little church, redundant now because in fact a new church was built half a mile or a mile or so up the road in Fleet Village in a safer spot. So that must have been some storm, mustn't it? Because this is quite a wide part of the Fleet. To have come over Chesil Bank with that kind of ferocity, that it would wash all the way across the widest part of the Fleet almost, and go inland with such force that it demolished the church and half the village. That must have been a frightening storm to live in, or live through. This is a jetty that's well known to photographers. Many people have photographed this jetty at sunset, including me. But it used to be a jetty in those days. It's in a very poor state of repair. It's just rotted away. There's no planking on it at all. One time you could walk out to the end of it. Oh well, it's life, isn't it? You can see by the amount of paraphernalia that this is a working part of the Fleet. Boats all over the place. And I think it is shellfish, is it oysters? I think it's oysters. I think it's got oyster beds because they were closed down for a long time because of some health issue. But they were given the all clear, I seem to remember, quite a few years ago now. So I think they're back in production again. And fishing probably as well, I would guess. So as you can see, this is a very windy path as we follow the in and outs of the coastline, and there is an issue sometimes. You can see over there there's a great big bank, grass bank. That's an MOD firing range. I think it's kind of rifles and machine guns, which is not always, so the walk along the coast there is not always open, which means you've got to detour inland to go round it, but we'll see when we get there. That's got a grand looking gate. interesting. There's a bit of artwork there. There's a lot of butterflies along this path. They're all fluttering in front of me. I want to go very careful I don't tread on any. Keep pitching on the ground. So the firing range is up ahead. I see no red flag. I see no one in the sentry box. And the gate's open. So that's good. Means I can go straight on instead of detouring. That's another ramshackle old jetty. That's another one you were able to walk out onto not so long ago. This track has obviously got very muddy over the winter. In fact, it's like this all the way along this track. It's very lumpy. Where it was obviously muddy and it's dried out. Ferrybridge, 2.5 miles. So there's that's where we are. So we've come round here, but if the firing range is operating, I think you have to cut inland. In fact, that's actually shorter, to be truthful, but not so nice. Nice little inlet. Oh, seems to be a boat. Not sure that's going to be going anywhere anytime soon. Time to give the ankle a bit of a rest and have 11s, I think. And that is a very nice view. I like the grass waving around in front of me, meadow all around, and the Fleet. Ah, beautiful sunshine. It's awesome. I could actually go to sleep actually if I laid back. Maybe I will. Well, that was a good spot for 11s, I have to say. Nice bit of slopey grass. A nice view. Time to get walking again. That's a pretty amazing view again. See how wide the Fleet is in places. If we come around here, you can see it's quite narrow where we're heading. You could almost swim across. military presence is felt again. Can't go through there. We have to skirt round it. So we're past the military base now, back on the open coast again. This grass reminds me of when I was a kid. We used to pull those off, use them as darts and throw them at each other. Memories, huh? So fishing is obviously something which has always gone on the fleet, and there's quite a few of these huts, fishermen's huts, along Chesil Bank or Chesil Beach. I'm interested to know how they get there. I'm assuming they don't walk along the shingle. I guess they probably get a boat. They have a boat, I presume, and they go across there in a boat, because it would be way too difficult to walk to these beach huts. Beach huts? Way too difficult to walk to these fishermen's huts along shingle. Still a beautiful day, beautiful walk. Coming up towards the end of the fleet now. You can see Portland in the distance. So it's about another mile or so and we'll be at the end of the fleet. And this is the saltier end. Interesting what the ravages of time does. Down here you can see a wreck, or what's left of a wreck. Actually, I don't, it's probably not technically a wreck, it's probably just a boat that was beached and left to rot. Rot it has, because I can remember coming along here and that was still almost complete. Well, kind of derelict, but complete. There's hardly anything left of it now. So if you leave anything too long, nature will take it over, erode it and swamp it. Now, isn't that a good thing? Because I like to see nature take over lots of spaces that we give it, like this. Take a little detour here, go down on the beach for a bit, come up the other side. Just for a change. Well, that's a surprise. I've not noticed that as happening. So it's closed all the way from here to Ferrybridge. So it's sending me up there. Unless I can go along the shoreline. I wonder if I could do that. Up here it is then. Apparently the coast path is crumbling into the sea back there. Well, it's not the prettiest coast path diversion I've seen, but I guess it's functional. It'll get me to the same place. So finally, via a circuitous route, I reach Ferrybridge, and a noisy Ferrybridge at that. Not that I'm staying on this road for too long. What is sad is that the Ferrybridge Inn, which used to be here, which was a bit of a landmark, I always think, it's no longer here. They've pulled it down. So that's where we should have come out, over there. But never mind. I can get away from the traffic again now, because we are past Ferrybridge and en route to Weymouth. So the noisy road that we've just crossed is the one that goes across the causeway to Portland. So it's a busy road. So we're actually joining an old railway line now, pretty well all the way into Weymouth. In fact, it's the Rodwell Trail. So I'm still on the Rodwell Trail. There's some pretty big boats over there. This is Portland Harbour. And now we can see the white cliffs of Dorset, where I normally do my walking. Lovely view. It's not my favourite way to end a walk, but it is at least even and flat. So that's got to be a plus. This is a very nice little bit of the walk, I have to say. Sandsfoot Castle Gardens. Always very pretty, these gardens. The Sandsfoot Castle is one of Henry VIII's castles. It was built to protect Portland Harbour, which is a massive harbour. But the good thing about it right now is that the gardens have a tea rooms, or a tea kiosk, so I might see if I can get a bit of refreshment. Could freshen me up for the last mile or two.
What, any paintings or
So we are getting closer to the finish line, having just gone past one castle. We're about to go past another one, or a fort actually. This is Nothe Fort, which you can see across the water. So we've got to go past there, and then Weymouth is the other side. I'm hoping the rowboat ferry is working, because it will save me another mile or so of walking if I can get rowed across the harbour entrance. So we'll soon find out. And you can see the breakwater out there, Portland Harbour breakwater, with gaps for the ships to go through. The natives in Weymouth are friendly. That's very cool. This is Nothe Fort. I'm not actually going to go in there today, because it's not a day for exploring forts. And so we reach the Weymouth Harbour entrance. Now the question is, I need to get from this side over to that side, and I don't see the rowing boat. Oh yes, there is. I can see the rowing boat ferry. Because if you don't take that, you have to walk inland to find the nearest bridge. But I see a rowboat.
Harbour ferry!
Well, that was cool. Awesome.
My favourite part of the walk, I think that is. Right. And so we reach Weymouth seafront. I'm nearly at the end of my walk. So with the noise of the seaside resort going on in the background, I reached the end of my 3-day backpack. What an amazing 3 days. Just clicked over the 40-mile mark. Got about half a mile or so to go, I think, to reach the station. But I'm going to get a cup of tea and a piece of cake, I think. I think I've earned it. Before I go to the station to get the train home. But it's been absolutely amazing. I've really loved it, and I'm so chuffed to be able to walk 40 miles in 3 days. I know it's not what I used to do, 20 miles a day, but it's better than I've done for some years. So I am totally chuffed to have been able to get at least one more backpack in, and hopefully more. If I keep on going the way I'm going, hopefully I'll get more in, especially if I can find ways to lighten my load. Anyway, it's been a fantastic 3 days, so I'm going to sign the video off at this point and say thanks so much for coming with me. I hope you've enjoyed the trip. I've loved it as always, and I'm looking forward to doing another one. Maybe this year? I have to have a look, see what I can find. Anyway, thanks so much for coming with me, and for now, this is me, the Dorset Rambler, saying until next time.